Something truly amazing to get to build those relationships, and I really wish that every police officer could get that experience like I do.
The residents in Easton and Weston are people that I call on a regular basis. We pop into houses and see them. We see them at social events.
I get invites to go and have coffee with the people in the neighborhood because they want to sit and they want to talk to me. Maybe just to talk about nothing. And that's what neighborhood policing is about.
It was a brand new unit, so nobody had told us, hey, you go to this person for this or this person for that. We had to find that out and figure it out on our own. And there were 6 of us and we did it as a team, but it was one of those things we had to build the foundation and meet those people and make those connections.
Hey, I'm your guy. If there's an issue, you can come to me and I will try to fix the problem using my resources within the police department and also within the government. So I think people really like that. And they don't call me Officer Bean, they call me Scott. So they know me by a first name basis.
The neighborhood officers, it can be anything from going into the schools, doing the food prep bags at the neighborhood meetings, which each of us are typically assigned neighborhood meetings that we go to.
A lot of meetings. A lot of meetings. Seriously, there's like a neighborhood meeting for just about every neighborhood in Lexington, of course. The town hall meetings, neighborhood meetings, the meetings with community partners, just so we can get things done. It's not really about the NRO. We're just the link between the police department and the community. We keep a pulse on the community and report back what's going on, and see where we need resources.
So we are a wide variety of things. And then the biggest thing is liaisons in the community. It's building those community partnerships. It's getting to know the pastors at the churches. It's pooling resources. I have a kid who has been in trouble and he needs some guidance, he needs a role model, and he needs a job. What can you help me with?
I would go and talk to apartment managers and meet them, introduce myself. It was a lot of partnering. So I worked with the council member, the neighborhood associations, code enforcement, parks and rec.
I take calls and complaints from the council members. Councilmember Brown calls me on a frequent basis, and I work with him in his office to, any complaints or issues that he gets, whether it's a street light out or someone speeding on a neighborhood, or hey, I've got this house is selling drugs, can you go talk to these people, or and we try to be proactive in solving issues that patrol officers don't have the time to solve while they're on duty because they're so busy.
Our city council people, they got to be on board with it, with what's going on. You got to have a good tie-in, and I know that when she was in office, Peggy Henson blew my phone up. She blew me up. So, but you know what? That's how things sometimes have to get done.
Every morning I start out at Russell Cave Elementary, and I've gotten to really know those kids. I teach DARE at that school, so I'm really close with the staff and the kids, and I know almost all the kids by first name, but I just greet them and I let them know to have a good day, encourage them.
So the kids will come in and they'll tell stories about him, that they see him when he's on patrol, and they're starting to form relationships with him, which is critical here at school because they don't see our officers as bad people. They see them as someone who can help.
The first neighborhood officer I remember was Ricky Lynn, and he was just a down-to-earth guy, and then he was replaced with Officer Don, and the connection's still there. We didn't lose a beat. So Officer Don is, she's a friend, not a police officer, she's a friend.
I think people see the uniform and they hear the stories in the media sometimes that portray police as bad. And I think they need to understand that they're human as well. And she has a big heart, so.
You really have to go out and build relationships and set up community partnerships so that you can benefit from those. The police department has helped me a great deal. I think the policemen here are very friendly. Chief Weathers has been here. He's actually taught a workshop before, and the kids really like to get to know them.
It's getting out and talking to people. I think that we are in a tech world a lot of people don't know how to have conversations anymore. So I think just getting out of our car and, you know, I've got a couple people that live on Chestnut, get out, we just sit out and talk. It could be how's the weather, are you doing anything this weekend? But I think communication's key, and I think we can all find common ground with one another.
If you're out talking and walking, then I'm talking and walking with you. I try to figure out who you are, not because you've done something wrong, but because I want to know you because you're a neighbor in the neighborhood. And if you have a complaint, I want to fix that complaint. I want to work hard for you to get whatever I can to make this neighborhood the safest possible, or, you know, or if maybe there's a crime committed in the neighborhood, I want you to be able to say, hey, I can call Officer Brandon, or I can trust that person and solve a crime. That way, that's my job.
If you listen to people in the neighborhood, they'll tell you a lot. And you can solve crimes that way because they'll be like, oh, that's little Johnny over there. You know, I think he's the one that was doing this. And then, of course, you go and talk to him and get even more information.
The only way that the police officers can do their job and make the community safer is that we have to speak up. And I think that it means a lot to see them interact when they are at all the events that we host, and when they're at community meetings and social events, and then they're out interacting with the children. It means a lot.
We've had situations where we've gotten tips on things happening in the community that we've been able to give to Officer Brandon. So that's been helpful. And it's kind of bridged that gap between some things that are happening in the community and happening here at school. But having everybody work together is critical, or nothing would ever get done.
I think Lexington is like a melting pot of resources. Some people say, oh, there's nothing to do here. We can't get any help. It is not true. You got to step out of your box and go get it.
There was days that I'd be like, you know, I don't know how to solve this problem. But what it forced me to do is think outside of the box. Long term, how can I fix this problem to where we don't have to keep coming back to make these arrests? So in a nutshell, it's kind of made me grow as a person and as a police officer.
So you get to meet people, and it was a pretty cool spot to work in.
This neighborhood I've kind of taken as my own, and I like it. And I mean, I've been out here now, I'm going on 8 years, and being a neighborhood resource officer is the best job in the department.
People that are in Cardinal Valley, the Hispanic community there, they care about their community, they care about their family, and they care about their neighbors too.
Easton's great. Easton is an amazing neighborhood. The residents are resilient. Obviously, it's got its problems just like any neighborhood. It probably gets publicized more because there is a lot of activity. This is home away from home. You know, I can walk my way through the streets at night blindfolded, but that's a great feeling to know that that's reciprocated.